In this day and age, we are consumed by technology and devices. This is my story of how cell towers affected me and how I was able to recover, getting back to nature.
About a year ago, Kendra and I and Kendra's mom were living in a huge city. We just moved to the place. We were renting in a house, and we had no idea that we were living about, maybe like 100, 200 feet from a huge cell tower. It was disguised as a tree, and at the time, we just didn't think anything of it. And in the description down below, I will include a link to the old video of when we tested with the cell tower. But anyway. No, because I don't want to know how. I don't do that. I don't know how to do that yet. So anyway, back to the story. We got there and we had been in Idaho living off grid for 4 years prior to that. Being in the city alone was a huge kind of shock and a lot of stimulus, and we didn't realize, again, that city, and most all cities, are just full of cell towers. You know, you see the commercials nowadays, Sprint and Verizon and all that, showing literally how they want to have a cell tower at every street corner and showing how great it is and it's so nice. Oh, the world's running off of these cell towers. Yeah, it's kind of sad. The whole world is running off of these cell towers, but there's a lot of danger, I feel, in my opinion, to it. So once we got there, we were living there, we finally saw the cell towers. We thought, oh, that, you know, they're obviously so gross looking. It's kind of weird to be that close, but whatever. We didn't think much of it at the time. So about, I don't know, maybe 2-3 months went by, and I noticed myself, I started getting just dizzy a lot. A lot of times it was a weird type of dizziness, you know. It wasn't like a lightheadedness. It was actually like my vision, my whole body just felt off balance. And this slowly got worse and worse as the months went by. And eventually Kendra started to get that as well. And I finally told her kind of what I was feeling. And she's like, man, I'm feeling the same kind of thing.
And
right?
it was very odd because in certain sections of the house we were living in, there was some flight of stairs, and almost when I would go down the stairs or in a particular area of the house seemed just more, you just felt more dizzy.
I guess the side that was closer to where the cell tower actually was, there were certain spots where we felt like you almost just got hit by it more, you know. And then I would say by the 6th, 7th month of being there, we really started feeling the effects and were really sensitive to it. I mean, both of us actually started feeling out of breath sometimes, really fatigued. Our sleep was totally off. That was a really bad thing.
Memory loss.
Oh yeah, that was huge.
Like I just couldn't remember.
Yeah.
Just even
both of us had that. Yeah, and it started getting really bad. And then the biggest thing for us, I mean, both of us were like, okay, is it just us? You know, but like I said, Kendra's mom was living with us, and she, you know, she never gets sick, she never gets dizzy or anything like that. She said she's never really had anything like that in her whole life. And I can remember one day she started getting it so bad that she actually got sick and threw up, and then she was getting these dizzy spells that were so bad. I mean, she had to hold on to the wall. She would get sick all the time from it. She would have weird
distortions in her vision, like seeing almost like a checkerboard type of pattern just in her vision. And it wasn't like she was, you know, moving around a lot. You know, my mom is older and is a little bit more immobile, so she wasn't really, you know, turning around fast or making quick movements at all.
Yeah. And she started getting the memory issues as well. All of us, I mean, we felt like at one point like zombies. And that's when I finally thought, you know what? I need to look into this whole cell tower thing. And that's where I found there's been some studies in Europe on how the radiation affected certain people, how it really affected a group of cows. They stopped milking. And then as I did even more research, I saw that there was a cell tower that was right above a fire station, and all the firefighters got there, got really sick. Some of them got cancer, they had memory issues, and that's when we really were like, oh man, this isn't good. We were both really freaked out from that. So I said, okay, I'm gonna get the little EMF reader. And this, wasn't even the most high-tech one. When I got that, it just showed that the cell towers were constantly pumping the EMFs in, and it was way, way, way beyond, I guess, the health standard for that.
And we discovered a website, which we'll link below, that allows you to do a search based on your zip code to find out what antennas or which cell towers are in your area, and how many are within like a certain mile radius, which there was like where we were living, including the one that was like maybe a couple 100 feet from the house. I think there was like 22 and like a really
in like a I think it was like a 1 or I think no, it was a 1 or 2 mile radius. It wasn't big at all. And I mean, that was like, what? Are you kidding me? So I mean, you got the cell phones, you got cell towers, then you count Wi-Fi. I mean, there's so much technology and so much radiation that we're constantly just bombarded with, all of us.
And in this day and age, it's kind of like a necessity in a way to have internet access, at the very least Wi-Fi in your home and on your cell phones. But when you have all that going on in your home, and then on top of it, you're so close to one of the cell towers or antennas, it's just way too much. And that's what we found. It was just too much, and it was also too much of other people's Wi-Fi. When we would try to link to our internet there was like a list of like maybe 50 different internets you can choose from.
And
so I mean if our computer is picking that signal up, I feel like, well, we must be kind of absorbing some of it too, which could have contributed to just the whole picture of, or the whole absorption of all the radiation going on around us.
Absolutely. I'm gonna switch this side, babe, so I can go like this.
Okay. Come on.
So yeah, once we found...
and I just want to say, even I felt our dog was maybe affected. He was really lethargic. He never wanted to...
He would literally lay in bed, I mean, till 2,
12 or 1 o'clock.
Sometimes 2. I mean, all of us were affected by it. And that's when I found this one website, and I'll link it down in the description below, how much radiation, or how it was dependent on how close you were to the cell tower, what kind of symptoms and what would happen to you. And dizziness was on there. There was vision, there was aggression, there was memory loss, and all of these things near the end of our time there. And we were really starting to feel.
That was a big turning point for why we even left, and then we just
after that
we moved around a little bit and couldn't figure out where we were meant to be. And eventually we ended up just
coming back home
and making some lifestyle changes, and now we're back here.
And one of the biggest points is look where we are. Middle of a giant field, hiking in the middle of nowhere. No houses around, no cell towers. So how do we feel since we've been back here? We've been away from the city, from all the cell towers and everything for what, about 3 months now?
Yeah, something
3-4 months. And I can tell you already, the dizziness is completely gone for both of us. Our sleep has increased so much better. I mean,
better sleep. We're just sleeping through the night instead of waking up, trying to fall back asleep. And
Kendra's mom feels she doesn't have the dizziness anymore. And even, I will say, once we left the Vegas there, the big city there, and we were still traveling around, all of us still had little like bursts of the dizziness, especially your mom. She would get it here and there. And last 4 months, nothing's happened. Both of our memory's better, sleep's better. I know a big one for both of us, I would say, is there was a feeling like a mood swing of aggression a lot when we were around the tower, and that was one of the big indicators. They said when you're so close to it, that can be something that can happen.
And some people thought, oh, it's all in your head, you just, you know, it's not real, like, it's you're being kind of like a hypochondriac here, and just thinking you're creating the symptoms from your mind. But I really,
when all three of us had it,
I don't think that we really were.
No, and because we didn't talk about it, especially we didn't tell Kendra's mom anything about it, how we were feeling, or anything about these cell towers. And when she came to us saying, hey guys, I'm getting dizzy all the time, I've been sick, do you guys, what is that? And then we were like, oh my gosh, this is actually something here, you know? And I mean, there's countless other videos. I've seen blogs where people talk about how they were sick from the cell towers. Hang on, I'm gonna go this way. It's better. And you know, I mean, I've even seen there's been an incident at a school. Again, I can even link that video down below. A news, you know, one of the news stations covered where the school in California, they took down a Sprint cell tower because there was a few kids at the school that had gotten cancer, you know, and stuff like that. That's where it really starts to piss me off, you know. All of this technology, we're moving so fast. Everyone's addicted to this stuff. You know, if you don't even have the whole radiation part of it, I mean, technology, people are getting lost and overstimulated and depressed because of this stuff. Everyone's always on their phone. Everyone's on their laptop. No one can just chill and be out in nature and do nothing. You know, just meditate, relax, be quiet, be mindful of just the moment, you know?
Be present in the moment.
Be present in the moment, exactly,
and, observe the world around you, whatever that might be. Even if you do live in a city, you can have some kind of escape. Like in Vegas, we would go to Red Rock, which was at least somewhat more docile and just somewhat more wild. Somewhat of escape,
so, but still, you are, I mean, you're surrounded by
now we obviously, we still have to use our cell phone for work purposes, and obviously our internet to put YouTube videos up. But you know, we've definitely lowered our exposure to those EMS, and I know probably a lot of you maybe can't necessarily do that right now. You're just not in a position to be able to escape, and I guess the best advice I could give is just to try to slowly maybe lower your usage of your phone, holding your phone.
Do not hold it.
If you hold your phone too long, I've even noticed your hand can get kind of tingly.
And get really hot.
Feel weird, so that might be the phone's own radiation emitting into your hand. Obviously, try not to hold it up to our ear. I think a lot of us know about that.
I want to say this too, especially, this is my opinion here, but you know, Ken and I aren't parents yet. But one thing definitely we're not going to be doing is letting our young kids play with the cell phone, play with an iPad, be exposed to all this radiation and all this garbage at such a young age. Kids should be outside using their imagination and playing with toys, not playing with cell phones and iPads at 1 and 2 years old.
The phone and the iPad, it shouldn't be a replacement for a babysitter.
No, it shouldn't.
Sometimes, you know, I get it. Some people, they need a break and they want to give their kids something to appease them and distract them. But I think it just is really doing a disservice to the child, and in my opinion, I mean, that's just our own personal opinion.
That's our beliefs on it.
Have a different opinion about that, but for us, we just feel
it's not a good thing.
They don't need to have.
We all need to wake up and realize, there's certain things, some technology can be really good and it helps us. It can help people live longer. But the problem is we all abuse technology. We abuse so many things and we don't have limits. We don't see what the side effects to certain things are. You know, and if it's too late. And then
you kind of have, it's kind of been a social experiment on people.
Exactly.
Once people start coming out and more people start saying, I'm feeling this way, and there's a trend of symptoms going on, that's really only when things change. And obviously a lot of things are dictated up with money and how much money you can make.
Well, that's a whole nother conversation where you could say that when people, if we do things that get people sick, it just makes the big players more money. You know, it's never, I feel in this day and age, us as people, all man, we're not really looking out for each other. It's just certain people are looking out for themselves, trying to make as much money as possible at the expense of other people's happiness, lives, and health. You know, so we all need to wake up and be aware of this stuff. You know, we can't, I don't want to see in 10, 20 years, literally there's cell towers on every 5 feet. And people are wheelchair bound with a, you know, cell phone over their eyes, and they're just living in virtual reality land. Virtual reality land. You know, nothing beats this, and it makes me sad that there's so many people that will never get to experience this, just relaxation, and just the beauty of nature, what God created out here. You know, or people don't need to be homesteading. They don't need to live this off-grid life to experience such beauty. You know, it's just, it's doing the small things, limiting your time to the cell phone, to the laptop, getting outside more, getting away from the city and cell towers, you know? And my advice for people, you know, if you are living really close to a cell tower, figure out a plan. You know, how can you, if your rent, when's it going to be up? Find a place where you're far enough away from a cell tower. You know, I think they say like the safe distance, I mean, you at least have to be 1,000 feet, or, you know, preferably more from these cell towers, you know. And I've seen places, I've seen businesses, giant cell tower right in the backyard of the business, or schools. You know, I remember when we were searching around in parts of California looking to live, there was this high school, and right there, right at the football field, 2 giant cell towers, you know, right there, right on the stadium lights. And these kids, I mean,
they try to disguise it.
Oh yeah. Well, the worst is actually, we were at this nursery, awesome nursery, had so many fruit trees, it just was such a peaceful place. And then we saw this tree, this giant tree, and I had to look for a second. I said, you know, something looks off about this. It was a giant cell tower tree right in the middle of the nursery. I thought, you know, how could you do that? You know, I mean, it's just, it's sick to be mixing something so toxic, man-made, with nature. You know, it's just not
like
right.
We said, or I said, that we do need some kind of, in this day and age, we use technology and the internet and cell phones to communicate. But here, where we live, all the cell towers are on top of the mountains. I mean, granted, if you live in I don't know, the Midwest or something, it's probably going to be just flatlands, the Great Plains, and you don't have options to put it up on a mountaintop. But I don't know, I feel like they could do more or be more proactive to help mitigate any side effects that cell towers could inflict on people. And they haven't been around for very long at all, especially at the intensity that it's at this point.
Absolutely.
And I feel like they just don't know the long-term effects.
Yeah, you know, I love my country. I love all the people of this world. I mean, we're all in this together, you know, and if we don't wake up and see this stuff is not good for us, this stuff is killing us, this stuff is going to affect us, you know. Like I said earlier, in 10, 20 years, if it keeps going this kind of trend, there's going to be so much sickness, there's going to be so much chaos in our world. Yeah, more than there already is. If that's pretty hard to imagine, but you know, this is the greatest country in the world, and I want it to be a great, healthy place for everyone. I want the whole world to be a healthy place. And we got to stop. We got to slow down with the technology. We got to take a break, relax, and just get back to some of the basics. Get back to the stuff that got us here and get back to our good health. That's what we all need. So, to wrap this up, like I said, a year ago, we got sick from the cell towers. We got away. We still were feeling the effects. Now, it's probably been, oh gosh, I mean, what, maybe, it's probably been 6 months since we were, or no, longer than that, probably 7-8 months since we were actually living there in Vegas with the cell tower. And now being here, being back home for the last 3-4 months, I can say we definitely feel like our old selves again. We're still healing on stuff, but all those symptoms and those feelings are gone, you know?
And one other thing I wanted to point out that I noticed, whenever you're too close to a cell tower, you actually won't get good service at all.
Yeah.
Every time we were in our house, we were in the city, but yet we didn't have any good, cell service.
Yeah, well, the closer you were, yeah, because it's so
just
strong.
Too strong even for the phone that
the waves were,
allow it to function properly.
Yeah.
Even if the phones are meant to be X amount of feet in order for them to function properly, how far is a cell tower supposed to be from a human being in order for them to function properly? Absolutely,
totally. Well, everyone, we wish you all the best of health. We wish everyone to stay safe, you know. We love America. This is our home. We love this place. We love the world. And we just hope that our leaders and all the governments out there, we can start to help each other, really help the health of the world, the average American, and just, you know, take all this stuff more seriously. See what technology and all this stuff is actually doing to us. We need to realize that we can't just put this stuff out there for years, and then when we see, it's done terrible harm, now we'll just put a Band-Aid on it.
And I feel we need to focus all the money that goes into scientific research about living on a different planet and whether or not it's inhabitable in the future for human beings. Why don't we just focus on
making this place
at least making it healthier with the cell towers?
Yeah.
So
we're always looking to other places,
That's present day topics and
this is
realities.
This right here, Earth, this is it. This is our home here, you know. This didn't happen by accident. This is where we were designed and meant to be, and it's our only home, and we all have to take care of it. We have to take care of each other and make this a better place. Guys, we love y'all. God bless America. God bless the world.